7:30 on Tan Talk.
Listen to the latest pet trends with benefits on the Pet Buzz every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Join pet trendologist Charlotte Reed and veterinarian Dr. Michael Fleck as they talk all things pets. From animal health and wellness, money-saving tips, celebrity gossip, breaking news, and more. Their expert guests are in the know and in the now. To learn more about this unique program and its hosts, tune into the show on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Have you ever had the desire to do something adventurous, exciting, fun, delicious, or suspicious, and don't know why or when it hit you? Well, now you'll know. 441-3311. Yes, you'll hear it right here on your own local radio station. You can shout your message to the world. Get people to come to your business, enjoy your services or goods, and the good news is it's affordable. Call 441-3311. That's 727-441-3311. And, oh, by the way, my name is Lola.
Hi, this is Tim Del Toro.
And I'm Lou Angelwolf, and we are the Grease Gurus.
Our show is broadcast every Saturday morning live at WTAN Tan Talk Radio 1340.
That's 10 o'clock every Saturday morning for an automotive forum that is flavored with humor and insight.
We encourage you to call in and be part of the Grease Gurus show.
We'd love to have you, and we will certainly help you find your inner grease.
This show is sponsored by Tim's Performance Service Center in beautiful Tarpon Springs at 906 Verona Place, and you can reach us personally at 727-543-1601.
Aha.
Hi, this is John Austin, host of the Book Club on the Tan Talk Radio Network. I spent 35 years in publishing, and today I want to tell you about a book that could change your life. The book is No Cash, No Problem. The author is Dave Wagenford. Dave Wagenford is one of the greatest barter experts in the world. He's bartered over $500 million in goods and services. If you want to remodel your home, but the cost is just too high, or maybe there's an automobile that you have dreamed of owning, but thought you just couldn't afford, well, this book will allow you to do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existing profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now online at www.tantalknetwork.com. Click on the book and follow the instructions, or pick up the phone and call Lola at 727-441-3311. The book costs only $6.99, so do yourself a favor and buy the book today.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to imho.love. That's imho.love. In my humble opinion, .love. This is a radio talk show. It's a podcast. We're doing Facebook Live right now. Hi, everybody from Facebook. We're also on YouTube Live. Hello, YouTubers. I don't know why you're over there and they're over there. I guess they're all right there. Welcome and thank you. This is a show about CE5, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Some aha and some ha-ha, because we all think we're funny every once in a while. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the November 30th? No, 20th. 20th? What's today?
21st.
21st. It's the Wednesday. And tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
And we're running on like no sleep, so
yeah, we're rolling. We're rolling. And over here to my left, it's my co-host Michael Murburg.
Hi, Lou. Nice to be back.
Good to see you, bud. And you've had a pretty rugged schedule the last few days.
Yeah. We engage, brain, think, talk, second speed. Yeah, we had some very nice house guests on Area 52. Celia Hatch and Corinne Cornish were out there. They had done their duty and broke in the tent at the Zen Festival and taught and did a teach-in on CE5 and
wow,
had their book out for sale there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they said it was great, except they put them next to the band. The bandstand. So like when it was a camp out thing. So
right.
Yeah. So they like every time they thought the band was done for the night, they brought up a new band until about 3:00 in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Then they had to be up at 8 to do their thing. So
well, that's And that's life on the road.
Yeah, that's the Zen festival.
It was, how zen was that, dude?
How Zen.
Dude, we're doing the Zen thing. It's 2:30. Come on, let's shut it
It's
down,
like,
babe.
Can we meditate, please?
Yeah. See Dennis Miller walking through there. Babe, 2:30. Let's go. Come on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show lined up for you. The opening music was from the beginning by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and that's what we're kind of casting back on today. Is all this seeking that humans do in pursuit of religion, balance, and of course, the CE5 avenue is a complete inflection of trying to look forward and back all at the same time. So we're kind of just trying to figure out what's our most organic thing, and so much of what we believe here on Earth is based on carbon dating and various methods of carbon dating, and really funny how these scientists all grade things differently and come up with their numbers and their estimates. There was something interesting on Greg Braden's show several months ago. I think it was last year's show, where he went and looked at the ice core samples from the North Pole, and the show was about global warming, and it showed a very, very natural progression of through the ice core samples, which they gauged to be a couple 100,000 years old. Okay, so basically, without sticking his tongue out, he was kind of debasing the global warming thing through the proof of the Earth itself and the believed science that applies to it.
Right.
Well, it's really hard to find that video now. It's I went looking for it the other day, and there was everything there but that. And I'm not completely convinced it's edited out, but it's just, that's what this show is about. It's in my humble opinion. Michael's opinion, my opinion. Our buddy on mic number 3 there, it's old Pete Blake, and he's just having a little dinner. So that's what the hardworking board ops do around here.
That's exactly what they do, and we got our program up and running, so don't go away. It won't be commercial time for you guys. It'll actually be a little surprise. So
Yeah, that's why I wanted to introduce you there.
we're locked in now.
Yeah, Pete has just been doing a phenomenal job on the mechanical end of the IMHO show. He has us hooked up on all these different, we're on YouTube and Facebook Live right now, live. And of course, we're also recorded on the IRN Broadcast Network. That's irnbroadcast.com. And now, on the break, we used to have like 7 minutes of silence because this is a regular radio station and they have bills to pay and all that other commercial stuff.
And we suggest that you meditate, but that's okay.
Yeah. If you can meditate, that's great. Take a little 7-minute Zen break right there in the middle. That'd be awesome. We'd love that. But Pete wedged in an old comedy clip of me in the break, what would normally be dead air. So everybody watching on Facebook gets to see Lou Angelwolf I'm at the Tampa Theater. I was opening for John Panette, God rest his soul. What a beautiful man he was. So much fun. And so it's a funny little 3 minutes, you said?
Yeah, about 3 minutes, 3:30.
Okay.
Just get it in there, and like I said, it's on a little program that I got some tricks up my sleeve.
You got the big alien computer, man.
Yeah, Alienware, man.
You're highfalutin, dude.
I've invested about $10,000 in all this equipment. So.
Well, that's very good, and we're very, very grateful that you let us use it. Thank you.
I'm grateful to do it.
You are one of the things I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving week, my friend.
I'm thankful for you and thankful for this show, guys.
How about that?
Thank you.
Well, all right. There we go. Let's not get all Harvey Keitel right now. But anyway, folks, we got a great show coming up for you as we look backwards to try to find the beginning. We got a couple of guests. An old friend of mine, actually, and I did not know this about him. It's a guy named Pat Shank who lives over there in the St. Cloud area. And his dad was an engineer at Area 51. out there he wasn't there during 47, but he was there in the 50s, and worked on he worked on the Project Boxcar. So, and he's going to be an interesting guy to talk to because, my family, all of our lives, we talked about extraterrestrials and, life outside of Earth. But to have a guy that worked there amongst all of it, to have it like to be living with a proven person, a true experiencer, firsthand scientific, to have that guy sitting at the head of the table, that's got to really influence your vibrations, your ideas.
Yeah.
And Pat's a very, very creative guy, really, really funny guy. I don't know how funny he's going to be tonight, but it's kind of a natural reflex for him. Mm-hmm. So we got Pat Shank coming up in the first half hour. He's going to call in here in a few minutes. And second half, it's our sweet girl. We love her so much. Beth Snyder, who was on the Lutopia podcast for years with me. She's been really, really progressing, and her business has just been so much of a blessing, really, really taking up a lot of her time, but it's really, really shining. She has the Om Shop down there in Sarasota, and business is just brisk. And she's also the hippest hypnotherapist I know. And her hypnotherapy practice is just blossoming, and people are getting well. And she's a really, really, I just love her. And that's Beth Snyder. She'll be coming up in the second half. Well, Michael, you've been like kind of like a CE5-aholic here these last. You're really hitting the hitting the old lens there.
Yeah, it was we were out last night, and it was a garden variety flashbulb streaker, entertaining night out under the stars with our extraterrestrial friends.
Yeah, it's it's on those clear nights out there. It's just colossal.
Well, actually, it wasn't real clear.
No?
No, yeah. We had the ground fog set in, so the laser lights were like extended jetty swords. It's like, that was kind of remarkable too. The natural consequence.
Well, and for folks that don't know, CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is human-initiated extraterrestrial contact through prayer and meditation. And what's the new abbreviation?
HICE.
HICE.
Human-initiated contact experience.
Human-initiated contact experience.
If I remember correctly. It was nice though. Being out last night, I was out with Corrine and Celia and Rosemary, and everybody knows the drill. It's kind of like you don't have to explain anything. It was really nice to do it with some very experienced people and movers and shakers that are trying to awaken the world and to CE5. And surprisingly enough, we have people that have been doing this for years now, and you would expect the craft to come right on down and sit on the lawn and bring us tea, but they didn't. They just kind of entertained us up there, and that was nice. It a very egoless experience, and made me come to realize that it doesn't matter who's out there. When they show, they'll show, and if they're ready to show big time, they'll show big time.
Well, exactly. And, to be a virtuoso, it's about 10,000 hours of practice. So we still got some hours to go.
Yeah, but who wants to be a virtuoso?
A virtuoso in extraterrestrial contact?
10,000 hours?
I'm in.
I mean,
that's something to strive for.
If you can dial back my time thing here, I'm okay with that. But I'm 63. I don't know. 10,000. Have you seen my life clock yet?
That thing. Did you see that thing I posted last week? It broke down a 90-year life in little blocks, and each block had weeks, the 52 weeks in a row.
Right.
And when you found your block, it was like, oh, and you look how much is left, up to 90. And, if you're living past 90, unless you're just one of those extraordinary people, it's rough going.
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah.
It's painful.
But folks, and that's what Michael's about, I'm about. We're both just, very questioning people. But
We are conspiracy factualists. How's that one?
Conspiracy factualists. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Conspiratorial factualists.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, we should write that down. And there we go. The reason this show's been going the way it's going, and there really is a vibration in the earth. And I'm not going to say I'm doing this not of my control. Of course, I'm making marked human decisions to do what I do, and Michael and I present this show, but I'm telling you that the wave of emotion that makes me do this or want to do this is very strong and very pure. I don't know what's going to come of this. I don't know, but I do feel compelled to do the imho.love show, and we're every week we seem to be like peeling an onion, just finding more and more center and balance, but consequently, as we do all this introspection, like not all the time, but a lot of the time, the mundane things in life become even more and more mundane.
Yeah, like the search for truth and a life of meaning. Ho hum.
Oh yeah,
just another truth search.
I think I'm gonna go stand out on the beach.
That'd be so much easier.
Yeah. It may be so true. Maybe just some old barefoot fisherman's got it all down pat, man.
Yeah, or what we're trying to do is like, hey, wake up the world, wake up and everybody's like, oh, leave me alone. It's Christmas.
Hey, we have pot, Netflix, like, big recliners.
What do you need truth for when you can, like, be stoned?
You see, that's the one. I know the cabal wants a manageable populace.
Right.
And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the legalization go through.
Right.
Because stoned people, they're just less aggressive. They're just, they don't, it doesn't, that THC does not encourage violent behavior at all.
Yeah, or critical thinking.
Well, no. I think you can be critical and...
You can, but it engenders just, I don't know. When I used to smoke pot pretty regularly. And
yeah. Were you good at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, why be not good at something you like to do? So, but after a while, you realize it sets in with a lot of people. It's amotivational.
Yes.
There's ways to use marijuana.
Sure, it's a
function at a higher level. But most people don't.
It's in my favorite drawer of the toolbox, but I don't leave the toolbox open all the time.
Right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think our special guest has called in. Is that true, Petey? All right. Well, like we had mentioned before, this is an old buddy of mine and one of the funniest guys. But he had a real interesting childhood. He grew up, and his dad was an engineer out there at Area 51. And had some interesting stories to share over the meatloaf. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to imho.love. It's Pat Shank.
Greeting, Earthlings. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing real good, Pat. And thank you so much for coming on. Pat has a really cool computer business over in St. Cloud, Florida called Area 51 Computers. Gee,
Believe it or not.
Wow.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Where'd you get that name?
Yeah.
And you know what's funny, Pat, where we have our CE5 meetings, we call it Area 52 because it's off of State Road 52. So
well, there actually is the Area 50 designations are actually locations on the Tonopah test range. So yeah, there probably is a 52.
Well, now there's two.
But, yeah, right.
Well, Pat, growing up with the level of knowledge that your dad shared with you about extraterrestrial life, what was? I mean, when did he first start peddling this stuff to you? When did you first start hearing the colossal tales?
Well, I was raised. My father raised me since I was 9 months old, and he worked a lot. Of course, he traveled all over the country, worked for pretty much every defense contractor out there over his career. I don't remember the exact time, but I know it's as far back as I can remember. Our house was not your normal, household by any stretch of the imagination. Our house was full of stuff, telescopes and radio equipment. And, it just wasn't the norm for the house, nor was, the average kid that grows up's got mom, dad, and, brothers and sisters. And, I didn't necessarily have that, but I had a pretty interesting childhood, to say the least. And my father was very lucky in the sense that he was able to be involved in some, a lot of classified and compartmentalized projects.
Okay, well, cool. Hey, can you square up your phone a little bit? You're fading in and out there a little. But, yeah, there you go. You know how to do it, buddy. What I'm saying is I grew up in a house that the UFOs and extraterrestrials were a topic often. We'd all sat around the dinner table and thoroughly convinced each other that this is not the only game in the universe, that America isn't the end-all, be-all. And we've been looking outside of ourselves. And that's one of the things that Michael talks about all the time. And it's part of the thrust of the show is exo-consciousness, a consciousness outside of yourself. And what we trust it to be is the permeating energy of all life on Earth. So, it's a pretty broad brush, but we'll start there.
You have to realize that the universe is a tremendously huge place, and there's, as far as we know, there's not too many limits in what actually happens. So, growing up as a kid, my father was he was a no BS kind of guy. Everything was black and white with him. He was a numbers guy, and he told you like it was, and his word was good. And being a kid, I thought these things, everybody went through this, or had this kind of. I thought everybody knew the stuff that I knew. I thought everybody, it was normal for me,
right?
Now, talking about projects and talking about, all of his adventures. I mean, he had a life that most of us would, if you were in, an engineer, or you wanted to be involved in, the space program, or Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, he did all that stuff. He was there. He was the, pivotal moments of history, things like that. So he was very lucky that way, but he's just an average guy. I mean, he's just average Joe, just happens to, fall into these projects, into these points in history that most people would only dream of.
Now, he had a close proximity during the Apollo 13 time. Isn't that right?
Yeah, all through he was.
What was the years of his career there?
He started his missile career started at White Sands, New Mexico. And
do you know what year that was approximately?
It was in the 50s, early 50s.
Okay, good enough.
And he was working on a Nike project and a couple other things, but nuclear weapons and missiles was his forte originally.
And what was the Nike project? Was that like really expensive sneakers?
It was a big flop. I mean, it didn't work. I don't think they ever got it to the missile interceptors and things that they were trying to accomplish there. But
okay,
he
well, you talk like we know.
Well, I know. I know. But
the Nike project.
Yeah,
that wasted time.
Half a dozen of the others there,
Yeah, more $13 toilet seats. That's all I saw. Anyway.
But he his career after he came back from the Middle East, which I've mentioned that to you a couple of times, and after he got back from there, that was pretty crazy.
He worked for a really interesting guy over there.
Yeah, he 70s, but I'll get to that. I guess I'll try to keep the timeline here quick and sweet.
Okay, go ahead.
When he was working over at White Sands Missile Range, a buddy had said, "Hey, you want to now that this project's wrapping up, do you want to go across the mountain range here and go work at a base over there and work on some stuff?" And he's like, "Well, there's no base over there." And well, the base had been put there in, I believe, 53. It started in 51 or something like that. he ended up going over there, and I know his security clearance at the time was not high enough for him to do the work over there.
Okay.
And he finally got his foot in the door over there and started to work on ox cart or box car. I think it's ox cart. I might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I get the names mixed up. But basically that was the predecessor to the U-2 spy plane, which was the SR-71 series of planes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what got his clearance up there to where he could start being involved in more compartmentalized programs.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, you work next to Joe for 30 years, you could, in an example, and never know what he does.
Really?
It's very, if you're not in that particular part of the program, you have no need to know. So, that's how that works. It's kind of oppressive, I think, in the way. I know that he described it. Some of the projects were, because you couldn't talk about it. You couldn't, could go to the lunchroom and talk to your buddy or whatever.
It's kind of an MK Ultra mind control thing too.
Well, these guys are.
Well, don't forget the way they're taught too. I mean, they're taught by government experts about teaching people how to conceal information.
Yeah.
And they set up little traps in their thought process that, when they start to talk about something, there's a trigger that'll make them shut up. It's the MK Ultra and the Monarch mind control parameters that the government has used on its employees, us. It bleeds out all over the place. And for these guys to be able to hold a secret, totally believable. Totally believable.
And they did it well, and they fooled everybody. They fooled you, they fooled me, they fooled everybody because nobody knows about it.
Right.
During the space program especially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could sit here all day and rattle off stuff that that he was involved in, but the basic gist of it is, that we went to space. When we started this space program, things started happening immediately.
Right.
I mean, it was immediate. Those, Gordon Cooper, those guys that were in Mercury program, they all saw stuff. They all experienced things,
mm-hmm.
And my father just happened to be there to, not per se witness it by hand, but being involved in the program. And, everybody talks, everybody,
sure.
Everybody has their, hey, did you see what happened,
yeah.
or events that happened during these flights.
Yes.
When, the whole control room's kind of hard when you got 100 people in there and, something happens. So that was constant. That was, it was an open secret as he described it. It wasn't, they used little terms, little names, Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and,
like if you saw an extraterrestrial or something?
Yeah, like,
That's how
UFO flies by the lunar lander and you go, here goes Santa Claus. And you can go back and look into NASA audio tapes at some of the times that they spoke about these things. But, and it was funny, when he would talk to me about these things, we were big sci-fi geeks and we'd love to, go any space movie, and he was very into it, but
sure.
I never realized the gravity of it. I didn't, I was young and I hear these stories and he talks about these crashes and things that happened and experiences, the breakdown of Neil Armstrong during the flights and,
yeah.
all of these different little things that happened to these astronauts that, that he knew about that we didn't hear about till 30 or 40 years later.
Yeah. In fact, after Apollo 11, they kept Neil Armstrong a little longer than the other guys, didn't they?
Yeah, Neil, my father described it as he had some type of experience, and the story supposedly goes that when he landed on the moon, there was somebody already there.
Oh.
And he stepped off the limb there.
Yeah.
And apparently there was somebody else parked on the crater watching him.
Wow.
And that's an old story too, and I've heard several different versions of that story, but I heard it from my father first, and they talk about this stuff like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's just another day at work, and for us it's the biggest secret in humanity. I mean,
yeah, that's wild, man.
And so it was interesting to be around him. He was involved in a lot a lot of cool stuff. You got to see a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the duality of the space programs. I can remember, you know, any time that we wanted to go out to the Cape or see anything cool, we always had access. We never, you know, growing up as a kid, I would be in the bunker, you know, at the shuttle launches and stuff. And,
right.
you know, it was great. Unfortunately, my father brought a bunch of his kids from school during the Challenger disaster, and that was probably, that was another, that didn't go well for any of us, because it was, I knew immediately, but the people that were with us didn't, and I happened to be, you know, right next to the parents of Christy McAuliffe there, and it was terrible. It was a terrible event, and those things happen, and there's a lot of events that happen that we don't, you know, necessarily hear about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Well, they're great at controlling the information. Well, we got about a minute left, Pat. And man, it's how interesting that must be to be living with that kind of perspective, where, you know, my parents were still very questioning. You know, they believed, but they didn't have any proof. But your dad's got many generations closer to proof than we ever had.
Yeah, he got to experience it, and it was, like I said, I could go on for days, and maybe someday we can get deeper into it. But you know, all you got to do is look up.
Yeah.
You know, the universe is a big place, and for us, for 1 minute to think that this little rock is the only thing left. You know, everybody says, oh, you know, you didn't go back to the moon. We haven't done anything from the space program. You know, we should be back to the moon. Well, we went to the moon, but there was somebody already there. And, you know, we haven't been back since. So I'm hoping that SpaceX will, you know, get us to Mars, get us doing something, and get these engineers, these great minds back to work.
Well, you need to look into CE5.
And Pat, you have a gold-plated invitation to our next CE5. They're Saturday nights, once a month, and I'll call and tell you all about it. If you want some information on the CE5, we're about to go to break here. Go to disabilityattorney.net and email Mike, and he will send you all the CE5 protocols. Pat Shank,
always a pleasure. Thank you so much,
buddy. You're such a champ. I love you so much, and let's talk more about this. I think we just have scratched the surface.
Yeah, lots more to cover.
Well, brother, you're a good brother, and I love you a lot.
I love you too, man, and keep up the good positive vibes, man. Lou, you got a talent, and you know, give the world some love.
You got it, baby. That's my deal. All right, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Pat Shank. We're about to go to break here on the imho.love show. And Facebook people, you don't have to go to dead air, and we'll be back in about 6 minutes. But people watching on Facebook, here's a little Lou Angelwolf clip till we get back.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills.
FM 104.3.
Listen.
20 record lows could be broken Thanksgiving morning. Meteorologist Jennifer Gray says this Thanksgiving could be one of the coldest in over 100 years for parts of the U.S.
New York City will feel like 7 degrees.
You want to be a truck driver. You got to go to truck driver training school. You got to know how long a truck is, the tires on the truck. You got to know how to back up a truck, hook up a truck. You got to know what all those little signs mean. You got to know where to pull over, where not to pull over. You got to know all kinds of stuff about driving a truck in the state of Florida, right? But if you want to drive a 50-foot long RV and you're 77 years old, and the biggest thing you ever drove was an Aerostar minivan, all you gotta do is cut a check. There you go, man. Thanks, Lazy Days. You can start taking gas pumps out that afternoon. This is like a bad Mel Gibson movie. Just and I think the thing I think that's cruel about it is they sell these old guys these RVs. They don't know how to drive, right? But they're going RVing, they're on an adventure. Not only do they sell them the 50-foot long RV, then they sell them a little car or a little Honda or a little something to tow behind it. You You know, like the spikes on a Stegosaurus's tail. Just something to whip around in traffic. So when they do that big end, whoa, it's that little extra kill power you're looking for. Double standards, man. They're hard on you, right? Like in Florida, if you don't wear your seatbelt, you get a ticket. How much is a ticket for a seat? $150? $55? $85? I'm like an auctioneer up here. I got 50, I took a bid, 50, 85. Yeah, 85 bid over here. How do you know? Did you get the ticket? Did you really? How'd you get the seatbelt? It was like hanging out the door, just sparking off the road? How are you not cool enough to... It got boy, you didn't have it on. I was stoned and forgot to buckle on. But $85 if you don't buckle your seatbelt. That little 3-point harness. Regardless of what vehicle you drive, it doesn't matter. If you don't have your 3-point harness on, you're in violation of the law. I'm riding in my buddy's Ford Excursion here. It's a big diesel. It's basically an F-250 station wagon. This big, giant truck. It's got 36-inch tires. It's just a monster. But if you don't have your seatbelt on, you're in violation of the law. But you are no safer than in your mother's arms and riding an Excursion, right? Here's the double standard. We're riding in the Excursion, right? We're sitting up there, right? And we look down, there's this kid on a motorcycle, no helmet, no shirt, flip-flops, jean shorts, balls flapping in the breeze. Somehow he's totally in compliance. He's fine. We're criminals. You should take it to court, buddy.
Radio Network. I spent 35 years in publishing, and today I want to tell you about a book that could change your life. The book is No Cash, No Problem. The author is Dave Wagenford. Dave Wagenford is one of the greatest barter experts in the world. He's bartered over $500 million in goods and services. If you want to remodel your home, but the cost is just too high, or maybe there's an automobile that you have dreamed of owning, but thought you just couldn't afford. Well, this book will allow you to do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existing profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now online at www.tantalknetwork.com. Click on the book and follow the instructions, or pick up the phone and call Lola at 727-441-3311. The book costs only $6.99, so do yourself a favor and buy the book today.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. imho.love, in my humble opinion, .love. I'm Lou Angelwolf on the air with Michael Murburg. Welcome, everybody, from Facebook, YouTube. If you're watching, I got to tell you, I am sincerely flattered that you're taking time out of your precious life to listen to us, and that's why we do it. Hopefully we'll share a little something that you might enjoy, or maybe even learn something. I don't know, but welcome. And today, our second half of the show, we're going to have one of my favorite human beings on earth. Will be calling in a little bit. She was my co-host on the Lutopia podcast, which ran for about 3 years or so. Beth Snyder is going to be on in just a little while. She is the hippest hypnotherapist out there. Is she on now, Pete?
Actually, she's not, but I wanted to go out to the phone lines because we got somebody else
Oh,
on.
we got another. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the phone lines are busy.
Yes.
Well, welcome to IMHO. This is Lou. How can I help you?
Hey, Lou. This is Kat Carroll.
Hey, Kat Carroll. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Well, we're here doing it, and
brain dead. I'm brain dead.
Michael's very tired.
Mike's head is better.
He's here for comfort.
Yeah, I'm the Corey Good of this show right now.
Kat, I've read some of your posts. You're an experiencer, and where are you from now?
I'm in California.
Okay.
Not New York.
Right. Okay. And
but there's the Buddy Bolton connection there.
Yes, Buddy.
Yeah. Strange connection. What do you call that? Spooky action at a distance. Yeah, we're very entangled, working together from across the coast, trying to help. Sure.
Wow, that's great.
And also teach a little bit about meditation and how it can actually cause healing, and how it, for me, also gave me two huge sightings over Sacramento.
Wow.
Yeah, when was that? Was that recently, or was did those huge sightings get you involved in this?
That was last year. What actually got me involved was 2013, when I was diagnosed with a heart blockage, and I did this great meditation technique, and I actually felt something come into the room and lift off my shoulder.
Wow.
So I like to share that because it was also in that type of a meditative state in 2017 when I had those two sightings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, as you tune your vibration, you make yourself available to certain inputs, and that's a blessing when that happens. I mean, you literally can feel your spiritual levels be lifted or cleansed or tightened or straightened, and if you've been in a very, in a committed state of meditation, that's when all the magic happens, but we just don't spend enough time there. But you see how beautiful it is when you do.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so.
The only way to receive that kind of grace or information is to be an empty cup. Just let yourself flow with it and be in a state of grace, gratitude, appreciation for everything you have, and bam, magic happens.
Lao Tzu's empty cup. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, Kat, thanks so much for calling in. We do have a guest scheduled at this time slot right now, so thank you so much. Have a very lovely Thanksgiving, and I know you will. It was very gracious of you to call, and please call again.
Yes, thanks, Kat. We'll see you on Facebook.
Thanks for letting me chat with you guys. Have a great evening and Thanksgiving.
Very
Bye-bye.
good.
Come back
Very good.
again.
Yeah. You're a lovely gal, and learn some nice stuff from some of her posts.
Yep, absolutely.
And so, Beth, if you're still out there, the phone line is open again. So here at Tan Talk, we do have open phone lines at 727. Sean? No?
We have 4 open phone lines.
Oh, we got 4 open phone lines?
Absolutely,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, so it would have just bumped down a line and held there. Okay. I didn't know. This is, you still have to climb to the top of the telephone pole to complete a call from here. So just like on Green Acres.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, we got 4 phone lines open. 727-441-3000 or 866-826-1340.
Yeah, but we're trying to get Beth to call in. I don't know if maybe I don't know. She's a busy gal. And
maybe she got hypnotized.
Well,
there's a mirror somewhere close by.
Well, that's her specialty, is the hypnosis. And Beth is my personal hypnotherapist. I am in dire need of a session. Michael, I'll tell you, I love doing this show. I'm a very busy guy. My calendars, my days are full, and I'm really blessed, and it's been good. But it's like I'm doing this a little fragmentation of everything. I'm needing a next level of mental stability or something.
Wait a minute, you're looking at me for stability. Maybe.
Well, you're my big brother.
Well, I am. I do my best. Hey, you know what we haven't discussed is the sightings off of Ireland with that British Airways.
The Tic Tac thing.
Yeah, the Tic Tac thing. The space dust.
Space dust, they called it.
Hey, Fred.
What is it, Bonnie?
It's space dust.
Really?
Well, the government says it is.
Kazoo, is it really space dust?
Oh, for those of you who aren't old enough to understand,
we were doing the Flintstones, which was based on the Honeymooners, which was based on some other abusive white male. So
I apologize to everyone in the world and all the extraterrestrials for being born a white male. I'm sorry.
Yes. You know what, though? I identify as a white male.
Yeah.
Got to tell you.
Hey, they show up for me still, despite the fact that I've got blue eyes.
Well, your meat bag doesn't matter. You know, this slogging bag of mud that contains our spirit.
Isn't that like Shakespeare? These slogging bag of mud.
You nothing more than a meat bag with a pulse.
Where's Falstaff when you need him? Oh.
Well, but it is the spirit that is part of all things. And, you know, it is really amazing that all cells, every living thing does the same thing. It eats, it digests, and it evacuates. Mm-hmm. Every cell of every kind does that. And
after it evacuates, then it goes to the bathroom, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you lost me at step 3.
I was
damn.
Evacuates or eliminates. Eliminate would be a better word.
Well, that's so zen about things, you know, that Alan Watts said. You know, the secret of Zen Buddhism is to eat when you're hungry and sleep when you're tired and go to the bathroom when you need to. I mean, he must have been talking to some bacteria or something to get that.
Yes, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, you know, this is such a this whole thing is so damn simple, and then it rolls out into this infinitive confusion, and then you start to reel it back in, and you realize it was all simple.
Well, that's the greatest thing about doing CE5 is you get out in the night out under the stars, and then after a while, after some meditation, you just let go and let go and let go, and you're not thinking about anything. And then you're doing the same thing that the Neolithic, human beings were doing 100,000 or 1 million years ago, looking at the stars, relaxing, and just being one with the universe once again.
Man, can you imagine how different the world would be if they had gravity chairs back then?
Yeah.
Those gravity chairs are the thing to have, man.
Yeah, that fire.
Fire and gravity chairs you can satisfy most men with those two things. Here's your gravity chair and fire.
I still hazard to use one of those things, but that's okay.
Well, I'm getting you one.
Hey, you know what we learned last night? The moon was out so bright. It's really smart to bring a hat with you.
Yes.
When you have, usually when you do a CE5, you go out for no moon. You're scheduling these things for little or no moon. And that's why there's the CE5 initiatives, because they essentially follow the, no moon phase of the moon. Mm-hmm. But, some of us diehards go out there when there's a full moon or some other kind of moon out there. And the best way to do a CE5 is to make sure you bring your hat, because the shade provided by the brim on the hat actually increases your visibility and kind of blocks the deleterious effects of a full moon. I know it's a really kind of simple thing, but people go out there unprepared, and part of what I'm trying to do is teach people as best I can in my brain dead state today, the day before Thanksgiving. I mean, oh my God, is there any day that I needed more to sleep in than tomorrow? But bring a hat, bring a baseball hat,
It's like the old joke. He had a hat.
Yeah. Hey, Henny Youngman?
No, that's a great old Jewish joke. It's a funny joke. Well, Michael, you do out of love, because there's people dependent on us, and we keep moving right along. And but in these meditative states, the grounding, standing on the earth, laying on the earth is good for you.
Right.
And then the collective spirit of the people that we have there, everybody out there.
You share beautiful energy. You really do create a toroidal energy field where everybody's input, every positive kind of flavor of perfect and beautiful human energy is combined to produce something in your midst that you set up that becomes the most appealing thing to the numerous different types and kinds of extraterrestrials who show up.
You know, and it only makes sense that as our consciousness progresses, that more and more layers are going to be revealed to us. And I think what the main beam of power that I'm going to try to stay closest to is that what we're truly seeking, because you'll be asked many questions along this journey. What I'm truly seeking in my heart, and it's the thing I've always prayed for, and it just has accelerated since I've gotten older, I pray to return to the innocence, because the innocence is where the source of love lives. Mm-hmm. And the source of love encompasses all things and actually generates life, because without love, there would be no life. And what I'm looking for, and I don't know if it has a name or a shape, or whether it's an area or an energy field or a place, I don't know what it is, but whatever that power of pureness and forgiveness and love and caring and sympathy and empathy and wherever all that was born.
You get it from your CE5 circle.
You do get it from your CE5 circle, and the people that I've been honored to pray and lead a meditation amongst the people there. And man, there's just the spirit that moves there is so peaceful and loving.
And I need to explain too, it's not just the spirit, but the extraterrestrials come out, the ships come out, the orbs come out, these very visible craft energy fields, energy entities come out, and they show themselves. And,
yes.
And it's not a miracle, it's a reality that we tie into and we plug into. And I think and the level of spirituality that you receive as I'll call it a spiritual download every time they occur. It's a reaffirmation that the path you're on is the right path. Mm-hmm. And the spiritual growth you're experiencing is real, and it continues to grow and grow and grow. And that is how we're going to save the souls on this planet, whether you call this the harvest, and whether you're one of those who are trying to bring people through to the next level, because there is a next level. It doesn't end at death. We evolve after that, and that's the message. As you get this right, you become a divine being in the eyes of your fellow man, because you're exemplary in everything that you do. And then upon your death and termination on this planet, then you get to the next density of light and become a spiritual entity and a non-physical one. And that was the message I got in the download of the wonderful celestial being that I was allowed to photograph and make the film available to anybody who wants to see it back in 2015.
Yeah, well, and it's that kind of clarification that truly motivates us and allows us to move on, because see, something has been universally, personally proven to you. Mm-hmm. In the universal consciousness, you've had your own personal, a little pat on the back, or a little nudge, or a little nug.
Yeah.
Yeah, the universe said, hey, Michael, you're a good guy.
A little inoculation. I'll inoculate you.
Hey, look over here. Hey, how about that, huh?
This is unity consciousness. Get rid of that duality. What are you, crossing your eyes?
Yeah, but, and, there's sometimes you just have, existential thought. I remember recently being in an airplane and just flying over these dense forests in the Carolinas and just thinking that, each of those trees is a micro universe to squirrels and bugs and, it's amazing. And each of those things does the same thing. It eats, it digests, it eliminates.
Right.
And it's just this giant motivation. I mean, from the smallest thing, the pine cones are doing it.
Right. But each and every one of those has been influenced by every ray and every beam of light from every star that ever was.
Yeah. Boy, there's a lot of stars.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Some people just say it's a big curtain. We're living in a giant snow globe.
Well, actually, that's a good way to put it. Lao Tzu, however you want to say it. There's a million different scholars with a bunch of different ways to say it, but he refers to it as the subtle realm. It's beyond what
the subtle realm.
Subtle realm, beyond what you can see, from which all things are birthed and given life.
Well, and that's where we want to go back to. Apparently, do you go back there for another assignment or regeneration, or
that's the end game is to rejoin, as George Carlin would say, the big electron. But it's a matter of spiritual purification to get out there, and it may be seen as a big game. The mind of the creator, other than the fact that it's known to create, is really unintelligible. Other than the fact that there's proof out there that he, whoever it is, does love us, because we get what we need if we tune in, and when we tune in, might not always get what we want. And from the natural world, the problem is that human beings get egocentric, narcissistic, pathological. They create wars, and then war sets the natural order of things on its head, and that's why war is evil. That's why violence is evil.
Absolutely. And and it does really seem like there are two distinct teams down here, each carrying different flags in different directions. There are those that are self-consumed with their personal lives and or the control that they can use over other people, like the people that are the head of corporations.
Right, and they're all afraid of dying.
They're all, and
massive fear of death.
So is a guy sleeping in a tent in Largo. He's afraid of dying too.
Yeah.
But what I see,
you don't have to be.
No, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Right.
Regardless of what you were wearing during your final performance, you're still going into the Hall of Fame. It's really because you're just going to evolve into something better. This human existence is indeed a gift and a high honor, and especially if you're an American. Or if you live in a free country where you can move about and study and read and learn and act according to your own ways. We're all living within parameters, but man, what a blessing. I say it all the time. It's climate-controlled environments, cars with shiny wheels, and food at arm's reach. What an absolute blessing that is. And, here it is, Thanksgiving. Man, I just have so many beautiful people in my life, and I am just every day. I mean, I don't even complain. It's like I cannot even, I can't get a true gripe out. I feel silly when I do. And folks, we have a friend. Sandy, she just lost her son in apparently it looks like a drug deal gone bad or something like that. And, it's that lifestyle. And, I know a lot of friends and that have kids that are in that gangster promoted lifestyle. And I got to tell you, the kids are waking up, though. They're realizing that it's all a facade. And they will find their inner peace. This group of people that are coming to the earth right now have the capacity to lead us to the stars. They really do. They're more of a accelerated being. That's why those who are pulling against us and they don't want the world to be happy, we'll call them the evil ones or whatever. I don't hate to label anything. But
it doesn't matter what you label them. It's what they do that counts. So.
Yeah, it's that negative force. That's why they're tricking the kids with all these video games, and they're keeping them mesmerized and staring at their fondle slabs and losing communication. They're the people who control those kind of things know how powerful this generation of people there is now, and they're doing their very best to tamp down their energies. And I just read an article. It was a reputable, reputable source. It was a big Wall Street Journal, maybe. I could be wrong. About how the people that are in tech as a business, Silicon Valley, those people.
Right.
Those people don't let their kids play with cell phones and pads and.
Yeah, they won't give them iPads.
You can't have one. Yeah. And why would that be?
Well, because number one, it's an addiction.
Well, number two, they're dangerous.
Yeah.
The radiation that they hold is not good for the little ones. And the kids all hold them in their lap right next to their genitals.
Right.
And that radiation to the genitals is not good in either sex. And it's I know it all sounds like this crazy nut job theory, but it really can't be, because those people that run those corporations that make these decisions to purposefully hurt us at their whatever, we're the cost of their upgrade. You're going to lose a couple lives. Yeah, they're going to be.
Well, we get to spend 2 weeks in Cabo.
What are you going to do? I'm going to St. Bart's without a sore on my face. So, you got to think, knowing that exists as you come back to yourself, just know that you just try to be the best you can be every day. And, the scriptures tell you, live your life in a constant state of prayer. And I really can't tell you, there's no other way. I mean, I wander off sometimes with some recreational thought and conversation, but I snap back and I realize, almost to the moment that I come back, that I'm good. Life is good.
Yeah, and seeing that it's Thanksgiving, I want to remind everybody that gratitude is the price we pay for abundance. So if you're grateful, you will be abundant.
Amen. That's really true. Gratitude is the price we pay for abundance. Yeah. And we're certainly abundant. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go drive my cool black GMC truck back down along the coastline, back to my lovely little cozy little home up there in Palm Harbor with the best little reporter over there. Pamela is just, she's really gathering a lot of stuff for the show, and can't thank her enough for that.
I'm driving my Camry back to Area 52.
Are you going back to Area 52?
Yeah, I'm heading out there tonight.
What time's the shindig tomorrow?
And whenever you want to show up.
2-ish?
2's good.
Is it late, early?
Well, we're going to do a CE5 afterwards, so.
Okay.
So fit your own comfort. We're not going to be out there all night, but, long enough.
2-3?
Yeah, 2-3 is good.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah,
because I need to chill out.
Yeah.
I've been running it.
Yeah, put your feet up and, chill out over by poolside.
Sure. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to imho.love. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Michael Murburg. Beth, I hope everything's okay. I hope it was just a client that needed to talk to you and have your loving tones. And Pat Shank, thank you so much, brother. You are a cool dude. And you know what's funny about Pat Shank?
They named an act in prison after him?
No.
Okay.
If you throw him a dress his size, he'll put it on.
Oh, my God. God, you talk about anal probes.
Nah, there we go. Had to hit it once in a while. But ladies and gentlemen, this is imho.love. Thanks, Pete Blake. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
We're very thankful for you. And everybody that listened, man, we love you a lot. And my heart goes out. Thank you so much for listening to this. We're just trying to be reasonable men. See you next week. And maybe we'll have Derek on next week.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody. Peace.